We were recently on a cruise ship where we came across a vessel of refugees. We ended up taking those people on board, and there was a passenger that was not very happy. Hey everyone, what's up? My name is Jordan.
And I'm Jared.
We are JJ
Cruise.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We have another kind of story to tell you about with a pretty shocking ending. Before we get into that, we are getting so close to our goal of 30,000 subscribers. We would love for you to be a part of the first 30,000 JJ crew. It is totally free. If you could consider hitting that subscribe button, it would mean so much to us.
Yes, and that thumbs up while you're at it. We really appreciate it. So thank you in advance. Let's get into this story. Unfortunately, this is not that uncommon for vessels to be in distress and nearby vessels to come and assist or rescue if need be. But what happened at the end with this passenger, we hope and we have to believe is uncommon because it was, well, unpleasant.
It was shocking to say the least.
So starting off from the very beginning, we were at dinner, just enjoying our meal, a very great meal and dinner time, but we realized we weren't moving. We realized that the ship kind of put a little stop to things, and we thought that was a little strange because it was early on in our cruise. We weren't just around our destination or anything of that sort. We really needed to make it to our next destination, and usually the cruise ship is hauling it to that next destination.
Now, to give you an idea of where we were actually in the Florida Straits. So we were between Florida and Cuba when we finally realized what was going on. The captain came on the loudspeaker finally after about 20 minutes of us realizing that we weren't moving to let us know that they did come across a small vessel that was in distress. It was full of people from Cuba. We imagined that those people were leaving Cuba to come to the United States and that they needed some assistance. He said that we would be back on our way as soon as we made sure that those people were safe, and if needed, they would bring those people on board to ensure that they were okay and rescued.
We, of course, like anyone else on board, wanted to know more. You're curious, right? You're on a ship, you're in the middle of the ocean or in the middle of the straits, and we immediately did what a lot of other people did, was go to the side of the ship and try to search for this vessel. Once we got to the side where the vessel was, we immediately noticed that this was unfortunately a small boat, very much like what you would take for a short fishing trip out, not something that is actually meant for the ocean or for wide open seas. And this boat had, 10, 11 people, maybe even 12, including young kids and infants in there. And of course, this boat was taking on a little bit of water as well. It was hard to tell if they were actually sinking or if there was just more distress as the fact that they couldn't control this small boat with the seas around it.
So after dinner, we finished and we actually went up to the upper decks to kind of look down. And this is where we could actually see that the boat was right up against the ship. And you could see some of the crew were throwing them waters and, really trying to get them to come on board. So clearly this small boat was in distress and these people were actually in danger. Of course, watching this and seeing this was really heartbreaking to both of us, because to think about what people must be going through to risk their lives to get in a small boat like that and come out into open waters in the night. It was about 9 o'clock at night, 9:30, completely dark out, is a really heartbreaking scene to see.
Of course, this is really hard to witness because, just like Jordan said, I can't imagine ever doing this myself, trying to escape a country that I was born in or come from, to escape something so devastating. It's almost that thing of realizing that something happened to these people to where they were forced to make an action. And unfortunately, that action caused them to be in even more peril. Maybe not in their minds. Maybe it was something in their minds wasn't more perilous and actually the only choice that they had at that time.
About an hour went past and the captain came back on the speaker and said that they had brought 11 people total on board, and that they would be keeping them quarantined in cabins and that they would be let off the ship at our next stop, which actually, I remember now, it was Puerto Rico.
Oh, yeah.
So they would be met there in Puerto Rico by the U.S. Coast Guard and then taken care of from there.
Although this is still something that was very heavy to take on that night, we were still very relieved that everyone was okay. That is the key point here. We wanted to make sure everyone was okay. And that was what was told by the captain.
We continued to go on with our night. I think we saw a show that night. And this particular cruise line, when I say this, you'll automatically know what cruise line it was, has a late night pasta bar. And Jared and I, from time to time, do enjoy, ending our evening in the buffet area, getting some pasta to go or getting some pasta to eat right there. That was when we encountered a passenger who had some things to say about the events that had happened on the ship earlier that night.
This lady made it well known to us, who was also in line for the pasta bar, as well as the crew, that she thought it was ridiculous and wrong for the ship to be taking on refugees like this because they could be bringing on COVID that could affect her and her vacation. That was something that we, hadn't really thought would happen. We were very confused and very put off by it because, of course, it completely took away the fact that these were human beings that were in the middle of open water, struggling to survive, and yet the biggest concern was whether it was right or wrong for them to come on board.
Now, we were so shocked by this because we hadn't even thought about that. We saw the rescue happen. Like Jared said, we were really thankful that these people were okay. And never once did it go through my mind, oh my gosh, what if one of them brings COVID on board and I get really sick? We were left completely speechless. And this person continued. And this is a little bit of a sidebar. We are obviously YouTubers. You're watching our YouTube channel right now. People often seek us out to complain about things. That's very normal because people want their voice heard. They have opinions about their vacation or their cruise line experience. And in many scenarios, we are always interested to hear what other people are thinking of their cruise vacation. This was one scenario, though, where we just did not want to hear this lady talk anymore, and she just didn't stop. She also explained that she had been on another cruise line the past month that had a similar situation, and she was also equally as appalled that they would bring people on board that could spread COVID and cause a big outbreak across the ship.
I think it was more of not even her getting sick, but affecting her vacation. That was the key words that really put a damper on everything for me, because ruining vacation doesn't even mean that you're worried about your own health. You're just more worried about, I won't be able to get off at the next port if there's an outbreak on the ship, or I won't be able to enjoy a dinner where I can, go and mingle with people if there's a lot of people on board sick. It was a little ironic to me, honestly, that this woman is waiting for her made-to-order pasta in line for a made-to-order pasta bar and could not care less for this 11 people who are people and human beings in this boat that needed rescued. It was too ironic to really address. We did kind of tell her that we disagreed. And then we also let her know that this is maritime law. This is not something that they have a choice. If the cruise ship did not help in this situation, that cruise ship, as well as that captain and a lot of other parts in this whole spectrum here, would be in deep trouble and have broken a huge law that is there for safety and precautions for a reason.
You might be wondering, why are we talking about this? Our channel is always about humanity, kindness, making sure that we are doing our part to be positive and be decent inhabitants of the world, no matter where we are. A lot of people know that our channel is a bright spot in YouTube, and that is what we aim to be. We strive to be positive and upbeat because we have all been through it the last couple of years, and we realize that. But in that moment, I think Jared and I also had a little bit of a wake-up call that we've been through it, but we have not been through it like a lot of other people in the world.
That is the thing that we get from traveling so much, is understanding that there are so many people out there that are not just different from us, but so similar to us as well. They're similar to us as that they have the same beating hearts. They have the same joy and want for a good life with their family and friends and the environment around them to be all about happiness. And some just don't have the ability to get that because of where they come from and the scenario they were put on or born in. So with this, of course, we want to make sure that anyone out there that comes across this can hopefully have a little bit different of a viewpoint on it. Hopefully this will reach at least somebody out there and give them a time to think about their own surroundings, because that's what it made us think about at first. You know, the fact that we've been able to cruise so much recently in these last, a little bit over a year now from the cruise restart is truly a blessing and something that we are very thankful and grateful to do. But at the same time, even if we weren't able to cruise, our life, nothing compared to what I imagine these refugees have to go through to put themselves in such perilous situation like that on this raft, this boat in the middle of the open waters.
So if you find yourself on a cruise ship in the future and this is happening, there's a couple of key takeaways here. First off, just to know that the ship is doing the right thing, not only from a humanitarian standpoint, but from a legal standpoint as well. The ship is required to take on, whatever is happening and whatever they can do in terms of safety and search and rescue with that other vessel. The second part here, though, is just take a second, like Jared said, to reflect and think about how blessed you are to be on that ship in that moment, and be thankful that you get to enjoy a cruise vacation, and know that not everyone gets that type of benefit in their life. It's something to just kind of sit and reflect on and be really thankful for.
So that's our story for today. We hope that you enjoyed it. Please remember, subscribe, hit that thumbs up button. We really appreciate it. And we are so close to 30,000 subscribers. So thank you so much for doing so.
Thank you again for watching. And until next time,
See ya.